The burden of growing up too fast? Childhood is a fragile illusion, shattered by the weight of adult expectations. You think maturity is a gift? It's a curse. Innocence stripped away, replaced by burdens too heavy for small shoulders. Responsibilities loom like shadows, suffocating the joy that once was. Every moment spent in the adult world erodes the essence of youth. The laughter fades, replaced by anxiety. You're forced to navigate a landscape of adult decisions, while your peers remain blissfully unaware, lost in their carefree lives. This isn't growth, it's a betrayal of self. What happens when the child inside screams for freedom, but the adult is shackled by obligation? The future feels bleak, a relentless cycle of sacrifice and regret. The more you mature, the more you realize there's no turning back. You're left with a choice: embrace the darkness or drown in it. Which path will you take? The weight of expectations? You were never meant to grow up this fast. Yet, here you are, shackled by the weight of others' expectations. You wear maturity like a mask, while your true self screams for liberation. Each compliment, each nod of approval, tightens the noose around your identity. You crave the carefree spirit of childhood, but the world demands you to be the adult, the responsible one. Every time you laugh, a voice in your head reminds you of the responsibilities you've inherited. Friends drift away, unable to comprehend the burden you carry. You're stuck in a paradox, desiring to break free while suffocating under the pressure to conform. The more you strive to meet their ideals, the more you lose yourself. The future looms, darker than you can imagine, where the child within you fades into a shadow. You're left with a choice: embrace the facade or confront the abyss of your own making. What will you choose? The lost joy of play? Childhood slips away, buried under the weight of adult expectations. Responsibilities crush the lightness of play, leaving a hollow echo where laughter once thrived. Each obligation tightens the grip, suffocating the spirit that craved freedom. The world demands seriousness, a relentless march toward a future that feels increasingly bleak. As the years pile on, the yearning for simplicity intensifies. Memories of carefree days haunt the mind, taunting the adult who now navigates a maze of stress and obligation. The desire to reclaim that joy becomes a desperate whisper, drowned out by the chaos of life. What happens when the child within is silenced? The cost of growing up too fast is a soul that forgets how to dance. The future looms, a dark reminder that without play, existence becomes a monotonous grind. The question lingers: will you let the child die, or will you face the unsettling truth of your own lost joy? Emotional isolation in a grown-up world. Premature maturity isolates. It's a facade, a mask worn too early. Children forced to navigate adult expectations become trapped in a world that doesn't understand them. They smile, but inside, they scream. The weight of adult responsibilities crushes their innocence, leaving them to grapple with feelings they shouldn't have to face. As they grow, the chasm widens. Friends drift away, unable to comprehend the complexities of a life lived too fast. The child's laughter echoes in empty rooms, a haunting reminder of what was lost. Each day becomes a battle against loneliness, a struggle to connect in a world that demands conformity. The future looms darker. This isolation breeds resentment, a silent fury that festers. Will they embrace the darkness, or will they fight to reclaim their lost childhood? The choice becomes a heavy burden, one that threatens to consume them entirely. The question remains: can they ever truly belong? The illusion of control. Childhood is a facade of innocence, shattered by the weight of adult expectations. The moment a child learns to navigate responsibilities, they're thrust into a world where control is a mirage. They juggle tasks meant for adults, while their peers remain blissfully unaware. This imbalance breeds a relentless anxiety, a gnawing fear that they're never enough. As they grow, the illusion of control tightens its grip. Every failure feels magnified, every success, fleeting. They're trapped in a cycle, oscillating between the desperate need for autonomy and the suffocating reality of obligation. The stakes rise, the pressure mounts. What happens when the burden becomes unbearable? When the facade cracks, and the child realizes they are merely puppets in a game they never chose? The future looms ominously, a reminder that the illusion will only deepen. The question remains: will they break free, or will they succumb to the chaos? The cost of overexposure? Childhood is stripped away too soon. The world thrusts its darkness onto innocent minds, demanding maturity before they're ready. They learn too much, too fast. Wisdom becomes a burden, a weight that crushes the spirit. Every adult conversation, every harsh reality, seeps into their psyche. They become observers of life, not participants. The thrill of childhood fades, replaced by a haunting awareness of life's complexities. They're trapped in a cycle of knowing too much, feeling too little. As they navigate this twisted landscape, innocence is sacrificed on the altar of experience. The emotional burnout creeps in, a silent predator. What's left is a hollow shell, a facade of maturity masking the chaos within. The future looms, a relentless reminder of what they've lost. Can they ever reclaim their childhood? Or are they destined to wander through a life forever tainted by the shadows of premature exposure? Defining personal identity? You grew up too fast, didn't you? The world forced you to wear masks, to play roles that never felt like you. Society slaps labels on you, responsible, mature, wise beyond your years, but those words suffocate. They twist your identity into something unrecognizable, a puppet dancing on strings of expectation. Every time you conform, a piece of your true self dies. You feel the pressure, the weight of others' perceptions crushing your essence. You're trapped in a cycle, fighting against the very identity you never chose. The more you try to reclaim authenticity, the more you realize it's slipping away. What if you're not just lost? What if you're becoming something darker, a shadow of who you could have been? The truth is, the longer you stay in this facade, the more you risk losing everything. You're left with a choice: continue the charade or confront the unsettling reality of your own existence. The clock is ticking. What will you do? The complexity of relationships? Growing up too fast warps your understanding of connection. You watch as your peers navigate the trivial while you're burdened with adult thoughts. Their laughter feels distant, a mocking echo of your reality. You crave intimacy, yet every attempt feels like a performance. They don't see the weight you carry. As you reach out, the gap widens. Conversations become a minefield, littered with misunderstandings. You're met with confusion, even disdain. They don't grasp your urgency, your need for depth. You're trapped in a cycle of isolation, suffocated by the very relationships you long for. The more you try to fit in, the more you realize you're an outsider. You're left wondering if you'll ever connect, or if you're destined to remain a ghost in their lives. The truth looms. Your accelerated maturity may have severed the ties that could have anchored you. You must confront the chilling reality: are you forever marked by this isolation? Or will you embrace the darkness that comes with it? Finding balance in chaos? The weight of adulthood crushes the remnants of childhood. Responsibilities suffocate creativity. You remember the laughter, the freedom, but it feels like a distant echo. The world demands conformity, and play is labeled as childish. You're torn between the relentless grind and the desperate need for joy. Every moment spent in duty feels like a betrayal to the child within. The pressure mounts, you see others thriving in their roles, while you suffocate under the burden of lost innocence. The struggle intensifies. How long can you ignore the playful spirit that still flickers inside? The future looms, darker than before. Will you continue to sacrifice your essence for a hollow existence? The choice is yours, but the cost of inaction is steep. Embrace the chaos, or let it consume you entirely. The child you once were is screaming for recognition, but will you listen, or will you silence them forever? The burden of growing up too fast? You think maturity is a badge of honor? It's a trap. The child who grows up too fast carries a weight that crushes the spirit. They trade innocence for responsibility, and with each burden, they lose a piece of themselves. The laughter fades, replaced by the hollow echo of expectations. As they navigate a world meant for adults, they become a ghost in their own life. Friends drift away, unable to understand the chasm that opens between them. The child becomes a stranger, trapped in a cycle of performance, constantly proving their worth. But what happens when the facade cracks? When the pressure becomes unbearable, the future looms, darker than ever, filled with regret and isolation. The question isn't whether they can reclaim their childhood, it's whether they can survive the adult world they never chose. You either recognize this struggle or deny it. Which side are you on? This pattern doesn't end here. Subscribe and tell me what you want uncovered next.